All right, guys. Well, welcome back to the channel. It's the weekend after the Muscleman event, and now we gotta start getting the car prepped for cage. It's not here yet, but it's going to be getting shipped out. One of the big things that we got to get done is get the sunroof out of the car, so that way the main hoop and everything can fit in nice and snug without getting jammed up on any of that. We do have a sunroof delete panel that we're going to put in. We're going to paint match it as close as possible to the rest of the car. But the first step in that is getting the sunroof pulled out of the car. So I'm going to attempt to do that today without pulling any of the seats out. If I do have to pull the seats out, then it's going to be a bit more complicated than I was hoping for. But I'm going to jump into that right now and see how much progress we can make. All right, well, we got the sunroof out. If anybody needs an E46 sunroof, hit me up because I'm not going to be needing it. But it was pretty clean without it in there, nice and clean. So I'm going to go grab the plug and we'll go ahead and kind of hand mock it up and see kind of how it looks. All right, well, here's the plug. It's from Fitment Lab. I've read some good things about it. It definitely needs to be drilled and we're gonna need to paint it and seal it, but I'm gonna go ahead and unwrap it and we'll go ahead and just hold it in by hand and see how it looks. All right, so as we can see, the fitment is pretty dang good. I'm probably gonna have to shim some of the bolts to get it sitting at the right height, and then we're gonna just have to fill the gaps with seam sealer or like windshield glue. That way we can keep any water from dripping in through the roof. But that being said, what you guys can see is that along the top, might be difficult to see, but like right there, there's bolt holes around the sides and the front. The rear doesn't have any bolt holes, and so I'm gonna have to figure that part out so we can get it mounted effectively. But I'm gonna need to take some time and brainstorm on exactly how I'm gonna measure these. That way I'm getting things done correctly. But yeah. Hole. There's 4 on the front, 2 on the sides, and then none on the rear. So we're gonna have to see how we're gonna make this work. All right, I'm not sure how well you guys are gonna be able to see this, but essentially I mocked up the sunroof, held it in place in my hand, and with a Sharpie, I'm not sure if you guys see this little line right here, I drew that was the edge of the sunroof. I did that on all 4 mounts, and then I marked a little line that's going to be middle. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold up the sunroof, mark the middle, like the center of the bolt line for each of these 4 holes, and then measure from the line to the center of the hole, measure that on the sunroof, and then drill, and then they should be lined up. So we're gonna do that. All right, well, it's the next day. Sorry I didn't film a whole lot. I'm learning a new skill, and that's trying to figure out where to put holes on something where it's not marked for holes and I don't have the easiest reference point because it's hidden. So to show you guys where I'm at, I have 4 done. I have the front side and the 2 front outside bolts fastened up. Now, this install has not come without its mistakes. I made a couple whoopsies. I'll show you guys what I mean. I mismeasured, and you can see there's a little bit of a slot. Now, that's okay by me. To be perfectly honest, I'm not a bodywork guy. This is not a perfect science for me. I thought I did the measurement 2 or 3 times correctly and drilled, and turned out I didn't. I have since figured out a much easier way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start getting the rest of the bolt holes drilled out so we can get this thing fastened on there permanently or semi-permanently. So that way we can A, make sure fitment's good, and then B, get it ready for paint. So I'm gonna jump to getting the rest of them done. I'll show you guys what I've been doing to measure them out here in a second, and we'll hopefully get at least the scary part of drilling all the holes out done. All right, so now that I got the block off out, I'll show you guys what I mean. So what I've been doing is I've been holding the sunroof up in place using a Sharpie. Now I'm gonna use a scribe to get the edge of the sunroof in its intended install position. And then what I'm going to be doing is marking the center line for the hole, the threaded hole, to this, and then measuring this line to here. That'll give me the distance from the edge of the block off, and then the center line I can transfer over to the sunroof delete, and that'll give me exactly where I need to measure from, and then the distance to. All right, now that may not be an exact science, or maybe I'm just not doing it perfectly. I'll show you guys what I have. So you guys can see that my holes aren't perfect. I've kind of had to elongate some of them or outright drill new holes and chamfer them or connect them just to get them to fit. But that's okay. I already plan to run some washers above and below. Above because it sits a little proud of the roof line, and then below just to distribute load when I tighten it down. So I'm gonna go ahead. I think I have everything where it needs to be, so we're gonna go and put it up in, see if this is final fitment for the sides and the front. And if so, then we just have to figure out mounting solution for the rear. That may not be in this video, just because I have to play around with seeing if I can shorten riv nuts to fit into the already existing roof structure of the car. If I can do that, that'll make it a whole lot easier, because then I can just make some metal tabs that give a little bit of pressure to the rear just to hold it in place. And then along the outside of the sunroof, I'm going to be ending up doing like window sealant, so that way we don't get any water coming into the car once it's all said and done. So let's go ahead and get this up in the car and see if it all fits. All right, well, it's in. I have it all looking pretty all right, and truthfully, I think it's pretty damn even, at least as even as I care to get it once it's paint matched and it has when window seal it all the way around it, I don't think you'll be able to see as much, but I'll show you guys really quick. Overall, the fitment's pretty good considering I'm not a body guy. I've almost never worked on fiberglass in my life before, and there's not really any instructions that come along with these kind of parts. It's kind of just hire a professional to do it or do it at your own risk. I like learning new things though, and ultimately I think I'd be a lot more confident doing this again in the future now that I have some ideas as to how to do it A, the right way, but B, also how to measure things in a way that it's not going to end up in the wrong place. But overall, I really like the way this looks. In the next couple videos, one of the next couple videos at least, will be us prepping it and painting it. We're just going to paint match it the same way we did all the fenders. We're just going to paint match it to the car, and that way it's kind of a slick top, but we definitely needed to eliminate the stock sunroof just because it's thick, and I'm pretty sure it would obstruct the main hoop of the Cage Kids kit when it gets here, just being that it is very much a hug the inside of the chassis type of cage. So ultimately, I'm super happy with the fit up. Like I said, we're not going to be painting it in this video. This is just a quick one. This is kind of back to my small weekend projects that I can do while I'm working and doing everything else on the side. But ultimately really happy with how this turned out, and stoked to see it all one color and permanently installed in the car. I am gonna, like I said, use some shims possibly, just because it does sit a little bit proud of the roof, but that's something I can figure out and finagle over time. But that being said, I think that's going to be this video. I know it was kind of a short one, not super in depth, but it's kind of hard to film and hold something up and mark and drill all at the same time. But yes, if you guys are planning to do a Fitment Lab sunroof panel, I would definitely say have a friend over that can help you hold it up. That way you can make sure it's even and mark it, measure it, and drill accurately the first time. But that being said, thank you guys all for coming by for another video. I appreciate the love that you guys have been showing to the channel lately, and it's exciting to see everything starting to grow and have some regulars coming back. We got another event coming up here in February on the 8th. It's going to be Slush Motorsports. We'll be out there with House of Euro, so come catch us at the House of Euro booth. That should be painted by then, and that's going to wrap it up for today's video. But until next time, everybody stay easy. Thanks for the love. Peace. Get down in the car. One time give it all. Bust it open hard. Let me see you drop. Get down in the car. One time give it all. Bust it open hard. Let me see you drop. I fucked up this hustle, baby hustle. What the I fucked up this hustle, baby hustle. What the